Crime fiction has its roots firmly planted in the Gothic. Based in horror, crime deals with transgressions and their containment, ethnicity, degeneration, the working class, and women. Subgenres include cozy mystery, golden age crime, and private investigative fiction gave birth to a new genre. Hard-boiled crime, the pulp fiction unfolding in that great wrong place, the anonymous and corrupt modern city. It was the Great Depression, prohibition was in place, alcohol was illegal, and there was prostitution, gambling, bootlegging, and corruption. So what is hard-boiled crime? Hard-boiled fiction, a tough, unsentimental style of American crime writing that brought a new tone of earthy realism or naturalism to the field of detective fiction. Hard-boiled fiction used graphic sex and violence, vivid but often sordid urban backgrounds, and fast-paced, slangy dialogue. The godfather of American hard-boiled crime, Raymond Chandler, published his first novel, The Big Sleep, in 1939. And in the 251 pages that followed, Chandler gave birth to Philip Marlowe, the ultimate private detective. Almost 60 years later, an Australian queer feminist, Dorothy Porter, wrote a revisionary text based in the depths of hard-boiled crime, The Monkey's Mask. In an article by Heather Worthington in 2011 entitled Hard-Boiled Detective Fiction, Key Concepts in Crime Fiction, Worthington discusses the character of Marlowe, Chandler's protagonist in The Big Sleep. Porter's protagonist, Jill Fitzpatrick, although never mentioned in the article, can be brought into the argument as Fitzpatrick and Marlowe are more similar than not. Worthington writes, a common theme in hard-boiled fiction is the detective's personal quest, which may be initiated by the criminal case he has been hired to investigate. In both of the texts, Marlowe and Fitzpatrick have a strong sense of morality combined with individuality and physical and mental toughness. Although Chandler writes for the uneducated blue-collar male and Porter for the educated and/or queer audience, both novels are written in a discourse that represented a response to the world in which such an audience existed. Worthington paints the picture of the novel as being about the lone, incorruptible agent with a high individual code of honor, the personal investigation within the crime, the dangerous woman, and the corrupt police were a central part of the narrative. Both Marlowe and Fitzpatrick are alienated from the community and work to satisfy themselves within their personal quests. And with a strong sense of justice, they are both outsider and observer. Both texts, although one written in verse and the other in prose, are told from the first person. And the private detective becomes the I as well as the I of the narrative. Working as outsider and observer, the hard-boiled detective, while paid for his investigation, is alienated from the community and essentially works to satisfy himself and his personal sense of justice. Both deal with crime, sex, and murder in an urban landscape, and are the texts of their time. Traditional hard-boiled tropes of alcohol, cigarettes, eroticism, and sadomasochism are present, producing hard-boiled narratives that were considered by their readers to represent honestly and accurately the social disorder, criminality, violence, and tensions of the time. Both Marlowe and Fitzpatrick are employed by wealthy families, and the detective's employment on a criminal case leading to his involvement with personal, often family problems, will become a strong theme established in a hard-boiled detective novel. And although the styles of the novel are very different, one being prose and the other verse, key components within the text remain the same. The presence of the femme fatale, providing an erotic element personified in Carmen and in Diana. The real criminal or source of criminality is a woman responding to contemporary masculine anxieties about female and male sexuality. The potency of language and the use of colloquialisms sets a fast pace within both texts. And as Worthington writes, both writers conjure a scene and set a mood seemingly effortlessly in a few words. Through the eyes of the detective, we come to know the characters, but the mysterious protagonist remains an elusive figure. Both texts reveal little about the protagonist except from clues offered in a dialogue which is stylish, witty, and enormously evocative. Hard-boiled crime, whether in The Big Sleep or The Monkey's Mask, relies on beautiful and evocative prose. The detectives work alongside yet outside the law, and although one is a heterosexual male, the other a lesbian woman, both work hard at revealing the illusion, artifice, and facades of both the city and its inhabitants. In her article, Worthington states that the detective must be a complete man, a common man, and yet an unusual man. And as is the case with The Monkey's Mask, it shows that women too could succeed in this strongly male-gendered literary domain, whether in the form of a woman writer or a fictional female pride. Whether it be in a genre-defining text like The Big Sleep or a revisionary text such as The Monkey's Mask, Hard-Boiled Crime offers the reader a delicious serving of entertainment. Thank you for watching my presentation.